Hi folks, and welcome to another video from Brummie in the Highlands. Well, I've escaped the Black Isle today, believe it or not, and I've come down to Inverness city centre because I wanted to show you this church, the one that's in the middle of the shot there. Now this is the Old High Church. It's the oldest church in Inverness, and this is where the executions were carried out back in the mid 1700s. Yes, in that very churchyard there. So what we'll do, we'll have a wander up to that church, we'll have a look around the graveyard and see if we can find the evidence of the executions. But first, what we must do is walk across the Greg Street Suspension Bridge. Now this was built in 1880 by the Greg Street Foundry here in Inverness. Now, it's a very old bridge. It's also called the Bouncy Bridge because when you walk on it and there's people coming in the opposite direction, it bounces up and down. So let's go and have a walk across it and make our way to the Old High Church that you can see just on the left of the shop there. Wonderful structure this. And when we get to the middle of the bridge, I will pan left and right and you can see along the River Ness there. There we go, and looking down the river you can see another bridge in the distance. That's Friars Bridge, and then we'll pan round and take a look around towards the castle. You see the castle in the distance there and the main bridge over Inverness, and that's the River Ness that you can see. Now just as we continue our walk across the bridge, I can feel it bouncing now because there's one or two people on the bridge. Quite a weird sensation. Try doing that when you've had a whiskey or two. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? So there we go, the Old High Church. Now you can see it stands on a mount, a small hill. That's called St Michael's Mount. Now back in the year 565 AD, St Columba came over from Ireland to convert all the Pictish people to Christianity. All the Pictish people were the ones who lived in Inverness at the time, and they were non-believers. So he had a job to do. Now he did it from that mount up there. Now there wouldn't have been a church there like that back in 565 AD, but there would have been some form of small wooden structure. There we go, just looking towards the city again. You can see the castle just peeking up on the right there. Lots of work going on at the castle at the moment, but we'll look at that on another video. So this is appropriately called Church Lane, and we're heading up towards the entrance of the church. You can see the church there. So we'll go and find evidence of these executions. Now the reason I've done this now is because the church has been put up for sale for £150,000. You couldn't buy a flat for that, could you? £150,000 if anybody wants to buy that. Not sure what's going to happen to it in the future, but the congregation got smaller and the upkeep of the church just became too expensive, so they've decided to sell it. I'm not sure if there's any restrictions when you do buy it, whether you can actually make any alterations to it. Let's hope not. So we'll just make our way into the churchyard. So we're getting a good view of the church now. You can see we're a lot closer. There's a mausoleum there in the graveyard. Now we're looking for some specific stones, some headstones, because apparently, and there are information plaques if you do decide to visit, it tells you exactly where to look. There's one of them there. Lots of history. We haven't got time to go into it all on this video, but there we go. This church dates back to the 1700s, and I believe the clock tower, the bell tower there, parts of that date back to the 1400s. So lots and lots of history. But let's go and find these gravestones that were used for the executions. Now back in the mid 1700s, just after the Battle of Culloden, the Jacobite rebels were brought here by the government troops to be executed, and they used to bring them here, and they used various headstones to rest their muskets on, and then they would stand a prisoner or kneel a prisoner next to another headstone and take aim and fire. They'd be blindfolded, obviously, and then they'd kneel down. Now I think this is one of the headstones that they used to rest their musket on. There we go, there it is there. You can see the V shape at the top of it there. That would be perfect just to rest the musket on, to keep it in a straight line, positioned in a straight line. Obviously that particular headstone that's directly in front of it would not have been there at the time. Now apparently if we walk 9 paces from this headstone, we'll come to the next headstone where they used to kneel the prisoners down in front of. So 9 paces would be about here. Now there we go, that's the headstone that the prisoners would kneel in front of. Now somebody told me, and I'm not sure how true it is, because the troops weren't that accurate at firing, sometimes the muskets, the musket balls or bullets or whatever they used to miss their target and hit this headstone. So there's still evidence in there of the musket ball where it's missed its intended victim. I can't see that, but there we go. Isn't that spooky? Now, standing in this graveyard today, knowing what we know about the executions that took place here, it does make you feel a little bit cold. Now I know the weather's cold today, but that sends a little chill down my spine, to be honest. Some of the headstones there are being held up with wooden plinths, wooden supports there just to hold them. They're about to topple over. So what's going to happen to this place, do you think? Does anybody know? Let me know. Wonderful architecture. We'll take a quick walk around the church itself. Now you can get to the churchyard from the main entrance, which is on Church Street. You can't actually go into the church anymore for obvious reasons, because it is up for sale. But just look at that. All the way up there. There's the clock at the top. Look at the stonework there, that's fantastic. I mean, that door at the top there, that's probably not the original one, but you can see all the little lookouts just above it there, the slits in the tower. Fantastic architecture, and you can go all the way around the church. But I think it's a shame it's been sold. Oh, there's somebody camping over there, they've got a tent. Maybe it'll be a new campsite, who knows. Can you just see the tent in the distance there? Fantastic. And that's the Free Church that you're looking at to the right of this main church. Now you can just see as we walk along the graveyard there, the River Ness. Funeral director straight ahead, Chisholm's. That's a grand building. And there's the bridge that we walked across. That's the Greg Street Suspension Bridge. Isn't it looking splendid today in Inverness on this cold mid-November afternoon, morning? So there's the main entrance to the graveyard from Church Street, and I'll just focus on this plaque for you. You can pause the video maybe, and if the quality is good enough you should be able to read all about the history of the church there. So there we go folks, that's the Old High Church, the oldest church in Inverness, which is up for sale. Who fancies that? And with its very gruesome history as well. Okay folks, well I hope you enjoyed that short video on the Old High Church here in Inverness. If you've enjoyed watching it, shoot across to my Facebook page as well. There's other videos on there, and YouTube of course. There's some spooky ones on there as well. I've got some more videos coming up shortly, so if you've enjoyed it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and the little bell that give you a notification of any forthcoming videos. So from me, Brummy in the Highlands, and from the Old High Church in Inverness, see you next time.